Hey Deckers, Black Myth Wukong is finally here. Now, as expected, it's not quite the performance of the benchmark tool, and which is why we always test it, but 1.4 million concurrent players with 93% overall Steam rating is definitely showing its worth. Now, I was a little bit disappointed with the performance initially on this one, as it was sub 30, but with a few tweaks, I was able to get this to 30 to 40 very consistently, with some minor dips that I didn't really notice if I wasn't watching the frames per second counter, because these settings made me go and complete 2 of the big bosses, and I've been playing this on the deck for a good couple of hours and I'm very happy with the settings that I've found. So I'm going to cut straight to the chase because you're going to want to get into this as quick as possible. When you launch this game, that gives you 2 options. So you want to pick the compatibility mode. This actually saves you a fair few frames per second, as that was the only difference between the starting footage of this video. Super resolution at 80 with the super resolution at FSR. Don't bother with frame generation. Low graphics preset, medium anti-aliasing quality and medium texture quality, and then go and have a great time. Now, as I said, it will have some minor dips, especially when we have some of the loading sections, but they're nowhere near as noticeable as when you're not on that compatibility mode. You get some really hefty load spikes if you do that. As I said, once I actually started playing through this with these settings, I was able to complete a couple of bosses. Now, do bear in mind, this is a little bit of a grindy game. You are going to have to replay this first section a few times, and it will take a while to get used to some of the boss patterns. And unlocking the stone stance really helped me get past the first boss. But as you can see, 30 to 40 frames per second in boss fights, and it looks phenomenal. It doesn't make you want to throw up when you're looking at this, and when we go into some of the slower sections on the OLED deck, it is looking absolutely gorgeous. Now, you could get a couple of extra frames per second if you turn that anti-aliasing down to low as well, but I do find, especially with the FSR, you do want that anti-aliasing on medium to get to that stage. I was around level 7 when I completed the first boss, and I did go with that stone stance, which really helped. So bear that in mind. If you're struggling to get through the first section, you can reignite or reset your skills quite happily. And although the hair on the next boss isn't the greatest because of that FSR and anti-aliasing, it's also not the worst implementation we've seen, and being able to get through boss fights with over 30 frames per second consistently. And I don't recommend capping at 30 as it does introduce some input latency, so keep it at 40 or plus, or just don't bother capping it. And although you are only going to get around 2 hours gameplay with this, because it's around 23 watts in those boss fights, you are going to be able to play exclusively on the deck. Last thing to say is this is being added to GeForce now if you do want to stream it for that ultra quality, but it's not quite there yet, but it should be there later today. Let us know in the comments below if you're diving into this one. I'm going to go back and start playing. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
You might as well take a good look around. A great pill, the black-winged guide gifted the wolf. Finding it would be a